Modern maps often highlight Laos for its isolation, the only landlocked nation in Southeast Asia. While this is often framed as a modern economic disadvantage, ancient history reveals a different reality, where this exact geography functioned as a strategic superpower. For centuries, the primary overland and riverine trade routes connecting China, India, and the Gulf of Thailand converged here. This central position allowed whoever occupied the territory to act as a gatekeeper for the movement of high-value goods across the mainland. We can see the wealth generated by this commerce in the physical landscape. On the Xiangquang Plateau, an Iron Age society used its trade profits to carve and position thousands of massive stone sarcophagi, an immense engineering project funded by a thriving overland economy. By the 8th century, Mon city-states had refined this geographic advantage into a commercial monopoly. By establishing fortified Muong along the Mekong and its tributaries, they effectively controlled the Middle River, taxing every merchant who sought passage through the interior. This early history defines the region not through isolation, but as a wealthy, interconnected nexus that dictated the flow of trade across Southeast Asia. That wealth drew new populations starting around the 10th century. These Thai-speaking groups migrated south along the river valleys, eventually forming the ethnic core of the Lao people. They arrived as the existing regional order began to collapse. To the south, the Khmer Empire, which had long influenced these trade routes, was receding, plagued by internal disputes and imperial overstretch. At the same time, the rising Siamese kingdom of Sukhothai began moving north. Their armies pushed toward the Mekong hubs, seeking to seize control of the river transit for their own growing trade interests. This confluence of migration, Khmer retreat, and Siamese expansion created a volatile power vacuum directly over the most valuable geographic choke point in the region. The Khmer Empire, unable to hold the region themselves, sought a way to block the Siamese advance. They turned to Ngum, a Lao prince who had been raised in the Khmer court and married into their royal family. The Khmer king provided Ngum with a specialized army of 10,000 men to push north and consolidate the Mekong city-states into a friendly buffer kingdom that would shield the Khmer borders. Ngum's campaign was a total success. By 1353, he had conquered the regional hubs and declared himself the ruler of a unified trade empire, Lan Xang Hong Kao, the land of 1,000,000 elephants and the white parasol. Lan Xang functioned as a state-scale geopolitical tool designed specifically to consolidate and monopolize mainland Southeast Asian commerce. Maintaining this monopoly required internal unity. Ngum had to build a shared identity between the indigenous forest gatherers, the Mon River traders, and the newly arrived Thai-Lao migrants. He used cultural tools to bind these groups, introducing Theravada Buddhism as a national religion. Later, King Semsentai organized a massive census to categorize the workforce, turning a diverse population into a structured state resource. Subsequent kings used architecture to solidify their authority. King Visun built temples like this one to house sacred images and host national rituals, proving the Lan Xang kings were the rightful protectors of the faith and economy. This strategy culminated in the 17th century golden age of King Sorenya Vongsa. For 57 years, Lan Xang was the wealthiest interior power, enjoying deep stability and successfully repelling every foreign attempt at invasion. By synthesizing these disparate tribes into a single culture, the Lan Xang kingdom transformed at the crossroads into a powerful, unified trade empire. That unity ended in 1707. A succession crisis fractured the empire into 3 smaller, competing kingdoms based in Vientiane, Luang Prabang, and Champasak. These divided states fell prey to the Chakri monarchs of Siam. Siamese armies invaded, burning capitals and forcibly moving the Lao population across the river to provide labor for the Siamese economy. When the French arrived, they prioritized geography. As this report states, they intended to unblock access to the Mekong to reach Chinese markets. They focused on turning the land into a resource basin, viewing the population as a labor force, ignoring historical sovereignty. The modern borders of Laos are the result of these imperial competitions. France and Siam carved up the territory to secure trade routes and labor, dismantling the unified geographic power Ngum had originally established. While colonial maps imposed new borders, they could not erase the historical identity of the people. The organic culture that grew along the Mekong remained intact despite foreign division. The thread of that history survives on the water. The Mekong River remained the geographic lifeblood of the nation, sustaining the same riverine commerce that built the first city-states. The Laotian spirit has endured through centuries of division and colonialism, outlasting the empires that tried to claim its trade routes. Modern Laotian identity is not a product of colonial mapping. It is a legacy forged by ancient river traders and unified by the kingdom of Lan Xang, the historic geographic core of mainland commerce.